everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're talking about Remonster Episode 6. It's possible that for some people, this week's episode is going to be the point of no return. From the beginning, one of the things that I have promised my viewers is that I would keep you updated on sexual content in Remonster. This week, I have to report that there is something which happened that is not going to work for everybody. Within the context of 21st century morality, Gobrou rapes a female knight he has captured. Let me repeat the first part very clearly. In a 21st century context. Because that's really important when we discuss what happened here. Within the context of the story, he and the knight are on a battlefield. And as they clash, she says to him, "If you truly desire me, prove your worth in battle." In other words, Chicky made a bet. If she wins, he dies. If he wins, he gets to do what he pleases. In our world, this kind of statement means nothing. On the contrary, if a woman is unhappy with a sexual encounter, she can go to the police the next morning and report it as a rape. Or go online, blast the guy as a perv, and cause something akin to the Aziz Ansari's bad date thing, which happened during the Me Too era. In this story world, though, we get the inverse. Gobrou takes the knight at her word, which, in our world, means he raped her, whether the story implies she ended up liking it or not. In the story world's context, however, Gobrou collected on a debt. It's this last bit that has me willing to stay and not terribly upset. Personally, I do my best to judge stories based on the morality of the story world. But I'm also someone who has dropped things for stuff like unneeded animal cruelty or romantic leads having and cheating on an existing partner. So, I'm the last person who's going to crap on someone if this situation happens to be their personal hell no. There's nothing wrong with dropping a series that has done something that you find personally intolerable. If your concern is about the presentation of the sequence rather than its morality in our timeline, it's nothing beyond what we've seen in prior episodes. They didn't go for showing the knight topless or using other graphic details. We get the image I showed in my thumbnail, a shot of the goblin tree or cave that they use as their home, and some sound effects. From there, the story moves on. It's possible that to some of you, I sound very cold or mean. It's likely I'm so used to understanding this kind of thing because it's the consequence women face in any type of war, and I've studied a lot of historical content. I don't think it's a good thing, but I also think that it's important that people are aware of the fact that this is a thing, because this is something that falls under the Fallout 3 war never changes kind of mentality. I'm not someone who believes that things should be hidden from people just because we find them sad or uncomfortable or disgusting. In fact, I think one of the reasons stories are so important is because stories are one of the places where we explore things that we wouldn't want to explore in real life. People should be able to choose the nature of what they consume. They should not be able to dictate the nature of what others consume. That's why I've ensured that this aspect of the show gets covered, despite not being personally upset with how it was depicted here myself. The far more interesting of all of this, in my opinion, is that it shows something very interesting about the development of Gobrou's character. Depending on how someone looks at the way he behaved here, it could be argued that this is a great departure from who he was in episode 2, when Redhead and the other ladies were brought in by the older hobgoblins, and then Gobrou defended and protected them. We can also consider the fact that Gobrou doesn't let any other goblins or hobgoblins touch women against their will. Yet at the same time, he's been acting like Ogre Chad since episode 3. At the women's request, but he's still doing it. Is the distinction that, as I stated above, this was the result of an act of war? Does Gobrou just think he has enough swagger that he can turn a no into a yes? Is he becoming so powerful that the concept of consent is starting to seem beneath him? Or is he just giving into his goblin or ogre nature and becoming more distanced from his former humanity? That could be a hell of a twist for his character. There are many possibilities, and one of the reasons I plan to keep watching is to see whether the situation was some kind of one-off fluke, or whether we're starting to see cracks in Gobrou's proverbial armor, at least on a character perspective. Mutations in his humanity, because while the morality of the story world in the forest did justify what he did, we don't know what kind of morality the world Gobrou came from actually had. So it's really anyone's guess whether this would have been normal for him there as well. Remember, he had this power to consume things in that previous world, and we know he ate lots of things. So this world he came from was very fucked up. I think that it's a rather intriguing blind spot though. Anyway, now that we've got that out of the way, we can get on with our discussion as usual. Obviously, our battle with the humans has begun, and Gobrou and friends are kicking ass and taking names. The spells that the goblin mages were using were getting pretty creative. The blood magic was particularly creepy, and Gobmi's evil eyes and how they were able to manipulate soldiers was pretty cool. I think it's interesting that we actually see Gobrou keeping some male prisoners for a change, and one red-headed dude who started training with him and Gobkichi seems like he's going to be a character to keep an eye on. I'm intrigued by the idea that Gobrou wants him to train with the red-headed warrior girl. I noticed they seem to have caught each other's attention. Will it end up causing trouble, or do I just have an overactive romance radar? We'll have to see. Gotta say, I actually felt for the humans in their quest to heal the princess. I wonder what the reasoning of the elves is for not wanting to give humans medicine. Not sure that's going to be important long term, but my gut instinct to hearing that we don't share that with humans was that they were just as responsible for this war as the humans were then. When somebody you love is dying, you'll do anything to save them. I'm pretty sure that crosses species. But all of that may be water under the bridge, given what Gobrou does at the end of the episode. By chugging that potion the elves didn't want to give the humans, but were willing to give the goblins, Gobrou gains the ability to use his blood as a healing agent. If Gobrou was not OP enough to begin with, but I'm fine with that. Like Anos from the Misfit of Demon King Academy, I watch Remonster to see what kind of badassery Gobrou will get up to next week. Will he find and heal the princess? Overall, I thought the episode was pretty good, and I'm definitely looking forward to next week. What did you guys think? Are you going to take your leave, or are you sticking around? Do you think Gobrou's character is changing, or just being more clearly revealed? Whatever thoughts you have, feel free to drop them below so we can chat about them, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!